Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report. For all of you guys watching right now, you are some brave souls because honestly, I could see why people would just quit on this team, but we're not quitting just yet. Not happening, not today. So on today's show, we're going to give you guys the latest Troy Hill injury news. Got some good-ish news on that front, along with Baker Mayfield injury update because that's what we seem to do here all season long. It's just injury news, but unfortunately, that's the world we live in right now for Browns fans. So let's kick things off by talking about the Troy Hill injury, which was a very scary moment down the stretch at the end of the game. And it's always, you never want injuries like that to happen, but you really don't want to see it when it's a blowout into the end of a game. But Mary Kay tweeted this out. Browns update on cornerback Troy Hill. He was released from the Boston area hospital last night, diagnosed with a cervical neck sprain, scheduled to travel back to Cleveland today. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I think it's a good sign to see him being able to travel back to Cleveland. I have no idea what his status is going to be going forward. I don't see a way he's going to be playing, at least in this week. I would assume it's going to be stretching over a handful of weeks, if not the whole season, but I'm not going to speculate on that. What I do want you guys to do, though, is type 23 in the comments right now to send your well wishes to Troy Hill. Let's gather around here, Browns fans. Let's all wish him a quick and speedy recovery and want to see him back on the field as soon as possible. So type 23 down below. That way Troy Hill can see some love coming his way because he needs it right now. Baker Mayfield injury news. So number 6 went down against the Patriots last week. This time it was another knee injury, not the same one as last week, which I don't know if we'll call it knee injury because he didn't miss any time from it, but it's just adding on. It's the shoulder, it's the knee, and it's not all his fault. I'm not out here to rag on someone for getting injured. But here's what Baker had to say after the game. I've got to find a way to get as healthy as possible. Pretty beat up right now. We'll see. Awkward landing. You got to give him props. For him to say, got to find a way to get as healthy as possible, usually the only thing that can get you healthy is time. For him to think that he can manipulate time so he can be on the field with his teammates as soon as possible, kudos to you, man, because a lot of people will just be like, that's out of my control. When the knee's healthy, I'm healthy. You really can only do so much in terms of rehab, but he is out here pushing it. And a couple quick things I want to touch on for Baker. So looking over Twitter right now, and Kevin Stefanski's currently doing a Zoom interview right now with the Cleveland media, and he's saying that it's trending in a good direction for Baker to be able to play this week against the Lions, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But that's good news on that front. He's optimistic. That's what the initial reports are coming out for Baker Mayfield's knee injury. Didn't look very serious at the time. I think if it was a close game, Baker would have gone back out there, but when it's 45-7 at the end, what's the point? But speaking of the Lions, guys, okay, the Browns are not losing this week. They are not giving Detroit their first win of the season. The Steelers can tie them. Browns cannot lose. But also, we got to catch up to our Detroit Lions channel here at Chat Sports. It's a long way to go, but still, subscribe, be the one that gets us over the hump. I don't know if it's going to happen this week, but do it for the Browns. If the Browns are going to win on the field, they got to start by winning here at Chat Sports. Everyone knows that's how it works. It's scientifically proven. So go ahead right now and subscribe to the channel today. Let's catch up to Micro Mike over at the Detroit Lions talk we have here at Chat Sports. Circling back a little bit, let's talk about Baker Mayfield and yesterday because that was abysmal. Great first drive, loved what I saw. Great 2 throws. I want to give him credit. Back in the end zone on 4th and goal to start the game, and then also the third and goal throw to David Njoku. A great throw, and Njoku just has to put it away, and that's a touchdown. But down the stretch, third downs were abysmal for Mayfield, and Stefanski knows that, and they just never really were seeming to be able to get into a rhythm. And they tossed Case Keenum in at the end, and people were talking about Keenum going on a little sooner in the game during the first half when this Browns offense just could not get into a rhythm. The interception was awful. I'm not going to harp on that too much because bad plays happen to every quarterback, and if that's your reasoning for benching a guy because of one bad play, and he had more than one bad play, but then a lot of quarterbacks are going to get benched. But overall, the offense has to run through the quarterback, and he never really was able to click, and this Patriots defense was working the Browns. But I got to ask you guys this question. Pick a quarterback. Who do you want to see out there? I'm going to give you my thoughts in just a moment, but let me know. Type down BM in the comments or CK in the comments if you want Keenum. I'm going to make this the pinned comment. So if you get hit with the YouTube ad break, scroll on down, reply. Let me know who you want, and when the ad break's over, scroll on back, and I'm going to have you my answer in just a moment. For me, you don't move forward with Case Keenum. You stick with Baker Mayfield, and that's a twofold reasoning. One, what do you really gain from Case Keenum? I'm going to talk about that in length in just a moment, but first, Baker Mayfield at least gives you ideas of what your future is at the quarterback position. You know Case Keenum's not the franchise guy, but you don't know if Baker Mayfield is at this point. I like to think he is, but the only way you're going to find that out is by playing him. If you absolutely do think Baker Mayfield is the franchise quarterback and you don't want to just get his injuries worse for his career going forward, then that's a separate conversation. But if you are still in limbo, you got to at least toss Baker out there and see what he can give you so that you have a fuller picture and you're not looking at a black and white decision, but a color picture, and you can decide what the best decision is going forward. You get more answers when you have Baker Mayfield on the field. With Case Keenum, all you have is more questions about who the quarterback is going forward for the Cleveland Browns. Before we dive into that a little bit more, I want to tell you about our friends over at BetUS. Our sportsbook partner hooks you up with the 125% deposit bonus. They're tossing Benjis, Jacksons, Washingtons, Lincolns, you name it. Hell, even a Thomas Jefferson $2 bill. And all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code right there, Browns125, and you put $100 in. Now you got $225 to play with because our sportsbook partner, BetUS, gets you that 125% deposit bonus. We're halfway through the NFL season. Don't miss out on betting on the NFL. I won't tell you to bet on the Browns right now. That's a scary bet. But at least get involved at BetUS. Start making some green this Sunday, whether it's on the Browns or not. Be in the know thanks to BetUS. Now, digressing back to the Case Keenum talk, what do you gain from Case Keenum? That's what I'm really getting at here. If you start Case Keenum and things don't go well, which I don't expect him to be huge results from Keenum, then the draft comes around and what? And Mayfield in his last year of his contract, you don't know what to do with him at this point. At least play Mayfield. And if things don't go well with Mayfield, you have an answer. Okay? If things do go well with Mayfield, you have a different answer. But if you don't play Mayfield, you're left wondering what to do with his contract going forward. You're really going to have your franchise quarterback in the last year of his contract as a lame duck quarterback next season? I don't see that very likely. So at least have an idea of what your future is at quarterback. You don't get that idea with Case Keenum. With Case Keenum, you get average results, which is fine. I got no problem with that. But you don't get a better idea of who the quarterback is. And Case Keenum this year, he's been fine. He played a little bit in the Patriots game once Baker went down. Had a whole game against the Broncos on Thursday Night Football back in Week 7. But all in all, Case Keenum is a nicely paid backup quarterback who is the Alex Moran of Blue Mountain State. Hope he doesn't want to see the field a ton. He's competitive, I get it. But I don't know. I do know. I don't think you should be playing Case Keenum much at all because unless Baker is physically unable to be out there, you play Mayfield so you have a better idea of what to do regarding his future going forward because I just don't see them getting any closer to a resolution with Keenum on the field compared to Mayfield on the field. Now, going back and circling on the Troy Hill news, I want to throw this guys at you. Just want to take a quick peek at what the defense and specifically the secondary would look like without Troy Hill, because I just don't see a way he'll be able to play this upcoming Sunday against the Lions, and I don't know what his status will be going forward, but it's a good thing you invested in this position because you drafted Greg Newsome, 26 overall in this past draft. You have Denzel Ward, which should be the future at corner. Greedy Williams has kind of been battling injuries the last couple weeks, so he's going to be iffy, I'm going to guess, for the coming weeks. At least the Browns haven't had their bye yet, so that's going to be huge. They have that bye coming up in 2 weeks. They had the Lions, the Ravens, and the bye, so 3 weeks. But you have A.J. Green, who went to concussion protocol, M.J. Stewart. So I'm going to guess the Browns are going to look at their practice squad to try and get some depth right there in that cornerback position. Myles Garrett had this to say, by the way, after the game. I thought this was a very interesting quote. We have to go back to the drawing board and see how we can get better. See how we can scheme better. See how we can make adjustments on the fly. We never had a chance just because we didn't make any adjustments on the sideline or when we had time to. To me, that's a lot to say about the coaches. Okay, if you're saying all this right now about the coach, what you're saying right here is an indictment on the coaches and not making changes, then I think that's a big testament to Garrett is not happy with this coaching staff. And Kevin Stefanski just now, looking at Twitter in his press conference, he had a private conversation with Myles Garrett. And so I want to ask this question to you guys, and then we'll go back to this. But will the Browns bounce back against the Lions? Y for yes, N for no. I mean, that's what Garrett's asking for. He's challenging the coaches right now to make adjustments, to make changes on the sideline, because if the game plan isn't going to plan, are you going to stick to it? Because if you did, it looks like you get a 45-7 result if you don't make any changes. So let me know Y for yes, N for no. Also, follow me on Twitter if you have not already. We're picking up some followers there. So at Matthew Peterson, saw a couple of guys followed me. Appreciate you guys. But this Myles Garrett quote, it's going to stick with me because he is challenging the Cleveland Browns coaching staff to make changes. He's kind of calling for them indirectly. Let's see if the coaching staff answers those calls.